Port of communications, understanding line signals and interference location line. So levels of pattern, high system location of space, how it sets pattern locations of levels into anomaly, switching position location of directions. So the connection to 3D line and interference location is closed now. So it's been living on so many generation communication cycles and force communications of lines. Track line center interference, where it platitudes to the locations to its calculations. High stream interference of data lines. It's all position of program setting. It's all about reposition locations. Now, when you close these portals, they're closed forever, okay, because it doesn't exist in high position locations. We can't high generation line centers of 3-graph interference. It doesn't exist position location of space anymore. So it's setting signal location, closing all portal locations to a new division line system to a new position of a code signal. That opens all portal locations to fifth dimension line. That opens all communications to the new earthers, high interference location and calculations. That puts you in a higher formation, right, to its code tractions. Now, this is a clocking line interference coming into 12 and 12, which is 24 sequence. 24 line communications, 24,000 lines of rainbow active stream interference. That is a protocol system location use calculation right there into 001.1111.01. Okay. Now, in that telepathy wave, changes this high interference. The three-dimensional line in rotation is in calculation off center. Modification to a system. So the fifth dimensional line streams in calculations, when you come into your I9 operation, that's intelligent line position locations of 9. 9 is the 1% location that comes into 101. Quantum physics location is quantum high system. Now that's position location of its directions. Truly understanding all levels of its portals is all in collaboration. How you travel through the mind is determination on you through communications, right? It sets its course on so many triangles, okay? So today in class, we're going to go through the Oscilles's triangle communication system, quantum entanglement interference. You have to basically cut ties with all the school position locations of its directions, right? The progress and the progressions that you're using is all levels of the mind. It's reaching the altered states of what space and time is inside of you. And the only way to do that is to put yourself in a maze location, get yourself out of situations, right? So it's like being in the center of a box and trying to get out. You're closed in, you're claustrophobic, and you can't break free because you're not allowing yourself to break free, right? So the mind says one thing and the body says another, and the heart is just on standby. Okay, but what's the soul doing? Okay, where's the interaction location to the physical line of adaptation? The interline connection is all levels of telepathy waves. That's all this is. Putting you guys in the process of you is truly understanding you from all level from inside location. That's how you channel it in so many line centers. Okay, quantum entanglement is extremely informative on so many levels of your thought patterns. How to use it is you through calculation. Okay, 5 minutes, we'll get started. After that, we go to Zoom, right? The link is down below. Don't forget, right? You guys get a process. We start position locations 12 Central Standard Time, PM, 1 p.m. location Eastern Standard Time with Michael. Michael is basically holding the space for everybody. So you guys will be in the waiting room. We're ready to go in. You know the process, communications. So it's all about Q&A. And today, when you guys all formation to that line center, you have to truly understand the importance getting out of its maze of its own system. It's extremely powerful when you do these things. It's like resolving issues extremely fast without even thinking. It's all knowing and doing, right? So it's incredible when you come into that position. All right. All right. Make sure you're rooted. Make sure you have your waters for all the new viewers. How's it going? Great to see new viewers coming in, locations. Make sure you guys get in your calculations. All right. What you're doing while you're here in school. The school is all levels of memory. So, all right. Let's see here. Madeline, Lindsay, it's great to see. Pam, how's it going? Terry, Jill, Amby, Gypsy. Oh, Kimmy, Christina, Don, Veronica, Michael, Johnny, Eric. It's good to see Eric on deck. Yeah. Rainer. Making sure you guys are seeing your communications when you're getting into your travels, your grounds, your Merkabahs, how to set position, location, and directions. So Pam's got a new calculation. Pre-flight check, list completed. Rooted, grounded, chakras aligned and balanced, hydrated, E-fields, Merkabah activated, inner child, co-piloting today's adventure. Yeehaw, let's go. Zoom, zoom. See? Everybody has their own process, and you do that every single day when you come into school. That helps you to ground your system through the mind. Okay? Don't put yourself in your own prodigy. You know what a prodigy is, right? When somebody is very high line center in interference, location, and adaptation to its phenomenon. Okay? So it's all about saying position locations. You understand more levels and numbers than you do in shapes, more levels and symbols than you do with all the position location of its direction. Right? Hold on a second. Okay. See, there's always going to be distractions, and you got to find a way basically to put yourself in anything to an advantage, right? Because that's what it is. It's a journey, it's a venture, it's a mission, it's a completing system. So you're basically, I don't see it really as a job, because if you see yourself as a job, what is the purpose of anything? It's truly understand you're getting what you want through manifestation. You're reconstructing everything back to its provision. That's when it comes into full communication of your co-creations, right? So it doesn't matter where you travel, you're fixing things, you're platituding things, you're creating what you've already created, which is amazing because you're coming into your memories, right? And that's what this process is all about when you go into school locations. All right, so make sure you understand that, because everything has a purpose. We all have a purpose of living. We just have to understand why we're in this equation, location to its connections, right? How to use it is all levels of view of operation, right? All right, so I set up graph line centers, setting in position, location, and directions. I'm going to put you guys in quadrant field entanglements, oscillates triangle communication line system. So the oscillation is its calculation modification to its high lines. And it high lines extremely powerfully plateaus, interference, position, of directions. So everything I give you in Avatar Streamline Center is set in sequence locations. So we'll go through white graph line center, wire in position location, one direction locations, change the colors and line conditions, going into code weaving line system. Now it's two line center, vector communication, graph interference, rainbow activation stream, all line center locations, code signal locations, crew units, squad units, 1 and 2 position locations, GFL, high line interference, rebellion line conditions, sending mass communication, sending gods, communication line center interference. So you guys are going to be wrapped in a coil in position location. All right, that's what you guys are going to be in quantum line center. That's a quantum entanglement. See, you're the rainbow graph line center. So you have to stand the intelligent line interference location to this position line center to its high line center illumination. So there's two illumination graph line centers of lines in a communication line system and code system. Trying to get out of it is extremely informative to its high line. All right. So once you get in that product line center interference, it changes graph interference location of its directions, setting recourse line channels in position of direction. Okay. So understanding that line system, okay, you guys are going to be in a different ground center. Okay, loop-de-loop and high rotation and high connections. All right. So it's going to recoil line center. It's going to travel you out a high interference in position of direction locations. All right. So we bracket its high interference. Okay. Now, you guys are in quantum entanglements. You have to figure out how to get out of these locations. All right. So you can be anything in perception. You can see anything through resolution. You can see anything through revolution, high center interference of revolution line conditions. You understand the evolving of view is its calculations. How to use it is all the practical system. So as you come into core line center, you come in position of higher line rotation. Now that sets up E-field position locations of its directions, right? Circling high interference in position of direct location, right? Channeling high, okay, is extremely important. Taking you out of 12 track line center. So we're going to sun interference, change coloration, change position location. Okay, so basically that sets you in course lines, right, to higher levels. So this is going to put you in acceleration Mach line center into the oscillase triangle. Okay, the oscillase triangle is basically a new division line center. Okay, it's a throttle line interference. It's a wire line rotation to a coil. A resistor position location of its direction is metabolic. Its communication to its graph line, which is its number sequence. It cores its relation timelines in calculation to its own clocking. It resets high line center interference in position location of its own program. Okay. So it's interesting how you come across the locations. All right. Traveling position line centers, redirect all line center interference in position location. Okay. Doing the exact same wire high lines, lacing line position location of direction. Okay. Into the highest location from here to here, right? Same thing, right? Except you're accelerating faster. So the faster you go, the more you understand. But see, the thing is, it goes the opposite way too, which creates its negative line center. And I told everybody to basically see itself as a resistant line position locations and a reference rather than a force line communication. Okay. You don't want to use that in a collaboration line center because it changes position directions to its galaxy interface. The interface line center opens all position location of its directions and it recharges your Merkaba of its transitions of its transformation. Okay. So it's important you understand what's going on with you. Okay. That's what you have to put yourself in, how to get out of transisting locations, all levels of quantum entanglements of yourself. Cutting all school ties that doesn't reside with you. You have to understand how to get into this position location implantations and get rid of all old programs. Okay. Because you're high forcing your line centers, guys. You're putting yourself in a higher position location of directions, all through code signals. All right. So you guys have 30 minutes. Have fun. So that's in high interference. Now, I really want to stay. We're going to go into levels. Now, when I say an oscillase triangle, you have to understand what that is. It's not actually a triangle. It's a quantum entanglement of view through perception. Interesting how I grasp that line system. So when I see a triangle, let's say we strip interference position of directions. This is a triangle, right? But it's not a triangle. Look at the patterns. See? Different intelligence, different intelligence, different intelligence, but it's all the same color. No, it's not the same color. It's different intelligence. So even if you see it as the same color, it doesn't matter. It's different intelligence because it's looking at the line position location of its directions, open up all channel line interference in position of direction location to its system. See? See how it travels high line center? It creates its own anomaly through a sequence pattern, which changes space positions of its directional location to its code signal. So it's trying to understand that an oscilles triangle is just the perception of the psychosis location to get rid of it to its system of the triangulation of its compilation, right? So it's a recourse line center to a graph. It's a maze to its position of its direction. So, getting caught in that, you try to get out of the wind cycle interference, try to understand position locations of its directions. Let's say you get in position, okay, to this, a cube, just a cube, but it's not a cube, okay? So that's the Trinity standing. So even though it's all one color, is it the same intelligence, right? This is what we call an oscilles confusion. So in position locations, right, this is all different intelligence because it's on different sidelines. So this is a different sideline panel. 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 And this is a different sideline panel. Okay, all different intelligence. So in calculation, exactly, cloak and dagger. So this is not the color of its line system. Oscilles triangle comes into a line center out of confusion location of its program setting, resetting course lines in its position. And this is what it is through calculations. All right. That's what it looks like. See? Rainbow activation, box line interference, if it's in a rectangle location, and two green circle locations, all levels to the system. See? So I'm just showing you where you can change your perception lines, and anything through its ground interference changes its position location of its direction. Okay? Its direction. So you go inside line, right? That's you in position location inside. Now, it's all about understanding your perception changes through its emotional track system. Resetting division line centers. You got electrical wires, okay, of purple. Now, purple is representation locations of the sun and high interference. Now, it sets reprogrammed line center interference position of directions. You can high force channels, electrical light panels, code signal interference, cross signal position locations, all the signaling line system locations, right? Now, understanding if you're set in signal in position of directions, let's say you're in the inline, this is you position location, and you're looking around, you're scanning. You're scanning here, you're scanning here, and you're scanning here, right? This is you in track center. That's you. Scanning, all levels. So you're scanning highline centers of south, you got east line, you got west line, and you got north line rotation in position of direction, right? So getting out of a situation is truly understanding how to use your formations of your thoughts, right? So everything that you see through perception is all inner line. Okay, let's say you see calculations. For example, let's say the lights are dim, right? And you go into your sock drawer. For example, when I did this when I was working out, I looked at basically two socks and I thought it was the same color. And then when I flash it into the light, it's black and green. See? To see the adaptation of confusion, location of perception, and the oscillation confusion. That's a true understanding that you think you're seeing the same color, but when you bring it into the light, you actually see the black and the green. Translucent patterns. Okay? It's pretty fascinating when you come across these things. And I'm pretty sure that you guys have done that before. Thinking that you're wearing the same socks, but when you bring it into the light, you're wearing different sock location of colors. Right? So think about it that. It's pretty interesting. It comes in a position. So I thought that was pretty funny when I was going into my sock drawer. And because the lights were dim, I was thinking, okay, because the coloration changes, your perception changes every single second, nanosecond of a per second location. So it's all about understanding what you're seeing from inline center of light and everything through dark position locations, thinking that you're seeing the same colors, but you're not when you go back in the light system, right? So I'm saying, whoa, this is crazy stuff. So I thought I'd bring that to your attention, how things can be taken over just through light of transition. Pretty wild, eh? So once you get into those prodigal line centers, platitude, line rotation, interference, you get out of confusion, and the mind adaptation just high position in its signs. The line centers and position of the lacing line communication system, program setting location turns calculations. Focus and clarity is all levels of view. Okay, how to use the signal in interference position location is its levels. So let's say we go into a cylinder line, right, and position of directions. Let's say we go into another line center locations, into a box position location, right? So you see the coloration different, right? If you look really, really close, right? So basically, when you're starting to look at things, don't look at the actual travel. See how it does it on its own? It moves on its own. See what it moved? It moved on its own, right? See? You see what I did with the finger line center? I separated the coloration line stream. And you can move it in opposition location of its directions. See? So it's amazing how things can position line interference. You lock it in screen location, it opens all channels of view in operation line stream. Okay? So it's important you understand how to use the different location of light transaction, light transitions, morphing communications, all levels of letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. And you're going to find that General is going to be saying this a lot because it's about you understanding how to get in your full operation of your computing system of adaptation, how to use it through its operation line system. Okay? So all right, so where are we here? Structures, scramble fences, lighting up, okay, sending, anchoring, gravity belt. To all check, right. Oh, I can see where my timelines, loop implants, loop programs, and looping, great. Spectrum, harmonic frequencies, great, excellent, beautiful. Recognizing looping patterns, start line, lessons, repeated until lessons is assimilated. And that's what it is. It's repeating old patterns. Repeating old patterns. Okay, so that's a perfect example. Very basic understanding to that calculations. Repeating old patterns. Okay, old pattern here, old pattern here, old pattern here, old pattern here. 7, 7, 7, 7. So every time you're waking up in high center perception location, you're circling 7, you're circling 7, you're circling 7, you're circling 7. And you can't get past 7 until you delete the program. Once you get into 7, then you come to position location of 8. And then you come position location of 8. And then you become position location of 8. And you become position location of 8. Right? So in the high stream interference location, you can downshift line centers into 9. And in position locations of 9. In position locations of 9. In position locations of 9. So that's 3 pattern line center interference location and directions. All right? See the intelligence? So that's a turn understanding what you are. Right? Your sequence pattern is all levels of you. You're calculating and modify. So you're repeating patterns. You're going through all line center locations of the 8-line rotation in a karma cycle and position locations every time you get up in the morning of cyclist location. Okay, repeating patterns. So you're centering this high system. Let's say you go in a circle. There's a circle here. You lock it in frame. There's the circle location, right? So this is what's happening, right? You can move it in high channel location line system. So once you get it in position, you lock it in frame, okay? And you set up another circle location, lock it in frame, you set up another location, lock it in frame, you set up another location, okay? You lock it in frame. Every time you lock something in a frame, you're changing program line center. Now this is Fibonacci sequence locations, okay? So this kind of looks like a circus, right? But what's evolving here? What's its repeating pattern, right? So you have to truly understand how to use the circle locations to its position. This is psychosis location to this isologies of communication interference. Astrologics and calculations of graph line. Now that graph line is on your computer. Okay, so that creates and destroys all line centers of your virus interference, but it's on an 8-line center. Anything to projector is a figure 8 rotation. That's the calculation where it goes in position, right? It has the I-line center, right? It has a pyramid activation. And you look at your nose, you can actually see the pyramid of you. So it's sure to understand how to use yourself through round line center. Okay, you have your templates, 4 position locations, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Cross line over position, right? You can even go sideline, high interference. You can go down cross line conditions. Truly understand how to set up position location of its direction of travel is all levels of view through face recognition, right? But when you're getting into applied division locations, let's say you get into darker circle locations. See it? Gets confusing, right? So it's all confusing you through perception line. How it changes position, it gets darker. See how it gets darker? So every time you set position locations, you're repeating patterns, right? See? It's creating its own anomaly, it's creating its own pattern. That's what anomaly is, okay? So you have to learn how to use that through perception. So it just gets darker and darker, see? And once it gets darker, you have to bring in information, location, a Forition of light. Because if you don't, you're going to repeat the pattern. So you have to really understand how to use the galaxy line interference and position of direction locations, right? So if you're setting too much signals on one line position location, you got way too much confusion location. This is snowy graph line interference.